Jimmy Dave, this is his home, and he's representing the group here today, the families. You know, they have to put in a lot of sweat equity, 24 to 30 hours a week. And so they come in the evenings, on the weekends to make this happen. And it's just a testament to just how much effort they put in to, when you see just how beautiful these homes are.
And as you come together, at some level, you have the understanding that if we better someone's life, if we create wealth in an individual, that builds wealth in our community. So whether or not you really understand why you're here today, I want to remind you that these things could not happen without you participating in what you do. Jimmy had me in tears yesterday. I'm probably in tears now. And he was giving all the glory to God because 6 years ago he was hopeless, without being able, didn't have a pathway to home ownership. And he's experienced a way to get a new home that many folks do not have. And so as we uncrated his reins, he was like a kid at Christmas. It's like you open the present and he was literally dancing in the kitchen floor in here. And I said, Jimmy, don't you realize that Whirlpool has come in and donated your appliances? And so the reality is that Mac and Jason can't make those things happen. And that we do believe that God has a pathway for a lot of people to home ownership. It is so good to hear the comments today because most of you believe that home ownership makes a difference in a person's life in ways that we cannot express. And so as you come together, I need for you to turn to your neighbor. Now, this guy over here, a sheriff, always comes to me and says, and thanks me for what I do for our community. Hey, listen, stop and think about this. I've built houses for 50 years, and I've never had anybody to thank me for helping our community. And then you have the sheriff of our community who deals with the ugly part of our community. All I have to do is deal with you guys, which is the good part of the community. But have someone like him validate that we are part of a community and that we come together as a community and we work together as a community so people like Jimmy, who is a veteran, has a pathway to home ownership. I hope that in some way that you can have a healthy pride for being here today and being a part. As you walk through this house, I want you to take the opportunity to thank people around you, just like he just came to me and thanked me for what I do for the community. Well, you need to do the same thing to your neighbor right here in this parking lot. As you move through, take the opportunity to thank one another for what you see here that you have done. Now, we have great people that do that. Bill and Sue is just at the top of the list of donating this property, but they bring in sweat equity into these properties. Everything you see except for 3 contractors, the volunteers and the homeowners have done themselves.
Teachers back then, here we are 20 years ago, were saying, hey, we can't afford to live in this area. I remember trying to look for a house because Spotsylvania hired me. I couldn't find a house in Spotsylvania. I couldn't afford it. And here we are 20 years later, and we're still talking about the same thing. I don't know what the solution is because we talk about it at government levels. We talk about it locally. We talk about it at the GWRC. But one of the things is this formula right here is the best I've seen so far. What Habitat is doing is by far the best, and what Jason has done, we've got another set of homes coming. Jason competed against entities from Stafford and King George and Fredericksburg, and to get this in Spotsylvania, to get all these houses that are coming up. And these are going to be houses for people who are actually working in our schools, working in our police and fire departments, veterans as well. And I can't think of anything else. People talk about the American dream. Thomas Jefferson years ago thought we would be a nation of farmers. because you are completely 100% free when you're a farmer. You decide what seed to plant, you decide when to plant, you decide when to harvest. Well, not everyone is farmers today, but I really do think that home ownership, I mean, that is the American dream. There's so many people that are trying to get into that. You have your own house. You can come home to your own building at night. You can decide what paint you want. You have all of these freedoms in home ownership, but a lot of Americans don't. So I want to thank Jason for making this happen. And I really, really hope that this model here that we're using is not just for Caroline, but the whole community starts coming together and say, we need to do what Caroline County Habitat for Humanity done in Stafford and in Spotsylvania and in Fredericksburg, because it's not just Caroline, it's everyone who is working in a government agency that's having a hard time finding a home deserves one of these, a house like this. So thank you, Jason, and thank you very much.